And they're outlaw artists, sprayers of graffiti, some brilliant, some dreadful, on trains, walls or any other suitable surface. The Victoria Police have declared war on them. The graffiti artists say this won't make any difference. Their outlaw artistic urges are just too strong. Bridget Goodwin has been out to discover their motivation.
These Melbourne boys follow a New York cult known as hip-hop.
This is a part of hip-hop. Graffiti is a part of hip-hop. Graffiti art, anyway. Breaking, rapping, you know, MCs on the mic, you know, DJs, you know, on turntable scratching and that, graffiti art, B-boys, all that sort of stuff. We just started and we just like it, so we do it.
The work they do here, on the hoardings of Melbourne's Remand Centre building site, is legal. It's sponsored by two unions, Moomba and the site's construction company, and it's supervised by youth workers, like Kelvin Lovell.
A bit more professional. Looks beautiful. Yeah, it's of course it does.
But even on illegal, there are always doubts expressed by passers-by.
Have you got permission from John Holmes to do this? And let them know if anybody sees you doing this, they think you're a lot of hooligans and you could be in trouble with the police. That advice you check in with John Hawkins inside. Come on.
Okay.
Does that sort of thing happen very much?
We've had really only minor problems in that regard, and that was an extraordinary circumstance. Generally, we've allowed the we've let the police and all the appropriate officials know before we come on site. It's all very well organised.
A lot of the public people who see it, they think it's just, they can't read it, maybe because, you know, we don't care if they read it or not, but they really give us a hard time about it. Like, when we were painting here, we had old ladies coming up to us and telling us off, you know, this is horrible, what do you do this for? And,
really?
Yeah.
See here, well, this wall here, it's for our own sort of, it's our own thing. Like we could get a legal job and we could do, say, a milk bar or something. We'd have to do it to sort of their specifications, you know, what they want, you know, done. We have to do very, very legible, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
So this is just our own style. We're just going sick here, you know.
This is a better form of self-expression, do you reckon?
Yeah, it's as creative, you know, as we get, you know.
Most of these boys see their spray can expression leading to artistic careers, but in the meantime they follow the law of graffiti. That means no biting, stealing other people's ideas, and no painting over others' work. Regarding themselves as graffiti kings, they look down on the toys. They're foolhardy youngsters. But it seems there are some they share a mutual dislike of, such as the police and the Railway Patrol's graffiti squad.
The railway bombing crew. Net cops suck.
Only come up in the last couple of days by the look of it.
Well, that displays their mentality, doesn't it, when they're, someone's purposely setting out to deface railway property. There's no art form in this lot, it's straight vandalism.
But while the artists and the law play cat and mouse in this graffiti renaissance, there are some who see social value in this form of expression.
I mean, I'm personally against destructive graffiti and...
As a psychologist, Tim Watson-Munro has had many graffiti artists referred to him over the years for court assessments.
I think there could be a danger in trying to obliterate graffiti because while people have that avenue available to them, perhaps it stops them from progressing to more violent ways of demonstrating their frustration.
His view is shared by Melbourne lawyer Jeff Giddings, who's acting for several young people who've found themselves on vandalism charges.
My experience is that unfortunately we're finding ourselves with the police acting, well, in my view anyway, perhaps a little bit too harshly. They might find themselves, well, maybe a little better off if they took a different attitude and tried to work with these people instead of against them.
Jeff says there's a lot to learn from other countries about more positive ways of channeling the talents of our compulsive wall painters.
Well, one example is in Holland, where young graffiti artists were asked to participate in a major anti-heroin campaign. Of course, in Amsterdam, heroin addiction is a very major problem, and they've been able to use sort of, they've had depictions of syringes being smashed by a fist and so on and so forth. It's also been heavily used by the peace movement in Europe generally, and certainly in Amsterdam in particular.
But it's the overseas experience of New York in particular which irks graffiti critics and motivates the exponents of graffiti prevention.
Well, if we don't tackle this problem, which is very severe at the moment, we may be faced with the situation as they are in New York, where they've just let it go, just forgotten about it, and the whole environment is so lawless that people are horrified just to travel on it.
The good, the bad and the ugly in Melbourne.